Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of We Legit Story and Hustle. Yo, what's good? You are locked into the We Legit Stories and Hustle podcast, where real stories meet real grind. This is a platform for hustlers, creators, entrepreneurs, and everyday people turning pain into purpose. If you are chasing a vision, building from the ground up, or grinding when nobody's watching, this podcast is for you. Let's get into it. Today's episode is going to be about discipline versus motivation. How we keep going when we are tired. How it works is after a burnout, people want solutions. This episode teaches how to stay consistent without relying on hype. One thing that I always make sure that I do is I take time out for myself. When I take time out for myself, I put the phone on do not disturb. I communicate with some people, but sometimes I just need about like 30 minutes to an hour to myself without interacting. What I mean by interacting, some people, depending if it's a phone conversation, FaceTime, or through social media, but sometimes you really do need that time to like really sit, reflect, and think like, is this business really going, or what I'm doing? Is it really going the way I want or not really? You really need to have a moment to sit there and think about, is this is going? Is it going? That's one thing. Number two is always good to take a walk. When you take walks, it doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter how many steps you get. It doesn't matter how much time you got out there on a walk. The purpose of taking a walk is to give you time to relieve tension and stress. It give you time to think what's going on, give you time to reflect a lot of different things. Because when you walking and you're not talking to nobody, you listen to music, your mind is racing, it's calming you down, it's letting you know like, hey, this is much needed and it's gonna be all right. Number three, going to the gym. If you can't go to the gym, walking is good. Doing a little exercises, stretching. Stretching is very important. Very important to keep your body loose, get the blood flowing, and a lot of good benefits come with stretching, if you believe it or not. Also, staying hydrated and staying on top of your health and making sure you're getting the right nutrients for your body. It won't slug you out and tire you out. And then it's always good to take at least one day out the week to build up your motivation. It's still being disciplined. However you market your company, however you market yourself, however you manage your workload, if you're working for a company, all this is in the same dynamic. It just helps you keep your motivation going, keeps you going on what it is that you're trying to achieve. And also, it's giving you discipline, a strict discipline. In the West Coast, we call it programming in and around about different ways. Got a program. But anyways, once you have that day out for yourself, then you get back on the grind. What I generally like to do is at the beginning of the day, I like to look at the analytics and see how I'm pretty much maintaining social media status, how many views I get, kind of, sort of. Just look at the analytics on social media from Twitter, TikTok, the Gram, and Facebook. And then I'll be looking at how many people looked at the website, any unread messages that I have gotten. And then I put together notes and make sure I communicate with this person, that person. Try to stay on top of the game, because sometimes without an assistant, I'm doing everything by myself. I do be forgetful. But what keeps me disciplined is that when you get off track on the program, that discipline and the strictness that you set keeps you in line. Well, I mean, keep you in line. Say you are a bodybuilder and you have like a cheat meal day. It might keep you off balance for one day, you know what I'm saying? It won't hurt, but you're going to feel it the next day. So by you having that cheat meal, yeah, you know, you're disciplined, you know, you just need a day of just woosah. But that one day might throw you off and it will remind you, hey, we need to get back on track. You know what I'm saying? So, but how I maintain motivation, I usually go through a lot of my old clips of where I started, what happened midway, and where I'm at today. Just recently, about 2 weeks ago, I got 2 articles from Nashville Voyage. Y'all can go check that out. Just Google Nashville Voyage and type in Marky Carter. 3 of my articles will pop up, and that will make a total of 6 altogether. So since I transitioned to Nashville, Tennessee, I done had 6 magazine articles written on me and more on the way. And Nashville is home. It's most definitely home now. And that's what keeps me motivated. I don't really go back and relook at my work as much. But sometimes when I be down and out, and it's just like, you know, it's like things don't seem like it's going the way it's going. But I have a mentor, I have a brand ambassador, and they tell me stuff without them realizing it, because I'll ask a question or ask opinions and stuff like that. You know, it'd really be motivational. A girl that I'm really cool with, she really gives me good advice. And that would really motivate me a whole lot more. But with motivation, I still keep that same program. I monitor my analytics. I make sure I put out good content. It's all about really showcasing this background right here, is making sure that my brand is being seen. I mean, I try to keep it legit the best way I can, but some days it'd be really hard. You know, you be seeing other people doing stuff that's really, I won't say commercial, but it's kind of like following trends and stuff like that. And when you're trying to be original and stick out, it's really hard in the beginning because it's not popular. So it takes work when you're trying to do something organic and be OG, as a lot of people would say back in the days. But motivation fades, discipline pays. So when you are unmotivated, your discipline should keep you in line, because your discipline is what got you in the position where you in. Whether if it's you took a vacation, you had to work on some projects for your company, or just life in general. Because motivation keeps people up and about it, like a good song, a good instrumental, good motivational quote, even a good book for a lot of people that likes to read. It's always going to be something in your mind that's going to keep you motivated. But that discipline is going to get you paid, because however you run your program, and when people adapt to your program and they like your program, they're going to stick around for the long haul. You're going to be around for the long haul, because as they always say, hard work pays off. And that's a fact. Showing up tired but focused is really hard. You have a lot of people that go to work, that run companies or run a small business or trying to build a brand from the ground up. They show up tired, you know what I'm saying? And you got to think, for me, I record the podcast, go live on TikTok, post on social media, I hop on people's lives, interact, intertwine, and then I go outside, interact, twine, whatever errands or something I'm doing out there. Then I got to go to work. So there's no telling what a person may be going through when they go to work, because they don't know, the work don't know what that individual got going on the outside. Even if they're not even running a company, it could be a single parent. It could be a person living with relatives and they just going through the ringer of just unnecessary stress. And it's just like you go to work and you're trying to stay focused, but certain things, really be pushing that button. So one way of showing up tired but staying focused is making sure you got a regiment, as in program, stretch, listen to a good quote, listen to a good song, positive song, whether it's gospel, R&B, hip hop, just a nice, good motivational song or little quotes, maybe in a podcast that keep you focused and chill, keep your nerves and stuff down, or going to therapy or having a good friend or two that you can talk to and get certain things off your chest where you're not being judged and you can be yourself. And hopefully that person don't run and tell what you're venting to, because everybody need to vent. When you don't have nobody to vent to, you become not an evil person, but you just become real disgruntled. And it's like, this person really needs somebody to talk to. Just let somebody just let it all out, and that be it. That's all the person need. That's all the person need. And they be on about their day. And when you get all that stress, all that built up testosterone or whatever it is you're going through out your system, I'm telling you, you'll feel 10 pounds lighter. No cap. And also, as you motivating phase, but the discipline pays. And when you're showing up tired, another thing is creating a system instead of willpower. It goes back to discipline. When you create a system, the system is how you dictate your program. And then, like I said earlier, if you got a good program and people are functioning with that program, you are going to be a good employee, an asset to a company or your company, or just in general as a person, because people love structure. I don't care what they say, but people love structure. And when you got structure, a lot of people stick around, believe it or not. But when you're unstructured, that's when a lot of people only around for the benefits, the drama, the he said, she said, all the excitement stuff. But once that fades away, they fade away. Usually how it goes. So when you creating your program, the best thing to always realize is you got to know what kind of people you got to have in your circle. My circle is very small. Very few people know what I got going on, but not everybody. You can't tell everybody everything because, as you grow in life, you know who you can have a conversation with off the rip. You know you can have a good, intelligent conversation with this person. You might know this person intellect is not on this level. So you gotta, I won't say entertain, but just learn how to communicate whatever individual that you're around. Some people call it being fake, but it's not being fake. It's just respecting the person you are with. It's like I can talk about business to somebody else, but somebody that's not into a business, they're not going to be too intertwined in the conversation because they don't have no knowledge of it. And you can't fault the person for not having knowledge of it because it's probably not their expertise. It's probably something they never thought about. So you can't knock a person for not wanting to be a part of what it is that you want to do when they're not really interested like that. They may like you, they may support you from afar, or however the case may be in the situation, but you got to realize that everybody program is different. So when I be hearing people saying, man, nobody support me, nobody this, nobody that, I'm like, hey, the world is dirty. You just got to find your way in it and maintain it the best way you can, because without running a business, that's just life, period. I learned that early before I graduated high school, really in junior high. So people will always be people. And one thing for sure that an older guy told me when I was 18 years old, he said people will never disappoint you. And that fact is true because I had left my home state, came to the South. I visited a variety of different places, seen so much of the United States. It really changed my mind frame on how I look at things. But even though I've been in all these different environments, seen all these different things within the United States, one thing remains the same is people never change. And it doesn't matter how big the city is, how small the town is, or the county, wherever the case may be, people will remain the same. Then, once your system is created, that will boost willpower. So, say a person will make a reel, the reel might get 212 likes. It doesn't matter if the views don't matter. The willpower and you keeping that same structure and program is what matters. It's all about staying consistent. What really motivated me to continue what I was doing because I was really ready to give it all up. And but what happened was I was on YouTube. I was watching $1 million worth of game interview, and Larry June was on there. Larry June was on there, and he said that he thought about the same thing. He's about to give it up, and he just didn't want to do it no more on the music tip. Then I believe he said he had an agent or something, and he seen his catalog and he had money built up. And once he seen that money was built up and he was moving from the Bay to LA or LA to the Bay, he went and got that money, created a system, strict on the program, been popping ever since. I was like, that whole interview was motivating right there. And winning. After watching that interview, I started upgrading my reels and how I record and how I edit. I got real creative and real better at it. After that, I got 2 more magazine interviews after that. And it was 3 at that time. And then one of my customers, he was from overseas at the time. I think he was on vacation. And he hit me up and said he wanted a hoodie. I made that hoodie for him, promoted it. Still to this day, it's one of my biggest videos on TikTok. So to say is that it doesn't matter who's watching it. You never know who's watching, first and foremost. Second of all, once you put it out, it's going to recycle. It doesn't matter how it recycle, it's going to recycle regardless, whether someone else repost it, like it, share it, or you repost it on your story. One way or another, it's going to come back around. And also, just stay consistent. Staying consistent is the best thing possible because you never know what's going to happen. You just never know. And people will let you know from afar, and people will let you know that you're doing something because they'll talk about it in a beautiful, understanding light. Only you can recognize the signs of that. Nobody else can. Whatever it is that you're doing, and someone else is telling, hey, man, what you're doing is really good. You know, I like what I'm seeing. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Podcaster, brand owner, starting a brand, good employee, starting a company, wherever the case may be. Just being a person in general. Somebody that don't know you or somebody that know you and really looking like, hey, I see you. That's motivation. That's letting you know that your consistency and how you are as a person is working. And also knowing when to push versus knowing when to pause. Now, for me, I push every day, but some days I need a break, and it's usually a Sunday. And Sunday is my rest day, and sometimes Thursday. Thursday and Sunday is kind of like the days I'll be like, I don't feel like doing nothing. Reason being is because Thursday is right before the weekend, so that day will give me time to chill, relax, watch Thursday night football, chill out, and get my mind right. Sunday is natural rest day. but it's a day where I don't really listen to a lot of rap music, depending on how I'm feeling. I try not to play a lot of rap music on Sunday, strictly oldies. So when I push really hard because I really like what I do. I like my model. It's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle. And like I said, this right here, it's internationally known from the east side of Long Beach to internationally worldwide known. All you got to do is Google it. And then when I be pushing, I push really hard, but I don't know how hard I feel like I'm pushing very hard, but I don't know who's all viewing and watching the content. So as they say, the content is contenting. That's pretty much what's going on. And I don't really think about the views or however it go. It's just all about being seen and exposure. But when I pause, I still feel like I want to push, but I don't push as hard on the days I pause. So that right there can give you a visual on how to maintain your program, maintain stability as a person, walking, stretching, relaxing, having you an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, maybe 2 hours, which is woosah time, which is all needed to function in everyday life. Always keep your circle small, depending on whatever it is that you're doing. Also, make sure you have 1 or 2 people where you can just talk to and vent to make sure that they keep you on balance and on track. And also stay consistent, whatever it is that you're doing. Now, what got me to becoming a business owner? I had always wanted to be in business. I went up for a promotion for a job. I didn't get it. Wasn't bitter, wasn't mad, or nothing. I stayed on the job and everything. I just started developing this brand right here. So when Nipsey Hussle died, he always said, he got in the business world selling t-shirts. So I just learned the Nipsey Hussle blueprint, and I started in Dallas, transitioned to Tennessee. I didn't think of all of this going on. Never thought about doing this podcast right here. I never thought about being seen on magazines or being interviewed. None of that came to mind. All that stuff just come with time, and it changed your outlook on a lot of different things. And my whole thing is prosperity and learning and growing as you go. So before I close this out, remember, your story matters, your grind matters, and where you're heading is bigger than where you started. No shortcuts, no excuses, just hustle and purpose. If you felt this episode, tap in, subscribe, share it with someone on the grind, and keep that movement alive. This is the We Legit 16 Stories and Hustle podcast. Until next time, stay focused, stay hungry, and always stay legit. Also, if this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who's chasing a dream after clocking out. Until next time, stay legit, protect your peace, keep going the right way you did, and enjoy y'all night.
Artlist.io